and the normal superbikes with Kieran Snyman currently in the lead, and I believe provisionally taking the championship for 2024.
Yeah, so the first heat, Snyman won. Van Niekerk was second. Tristan Pienaar. Then Jason Lineker was ahead of Johnny Towers. Michael Hunter was in there. Then we had the likes of Sarah Lasbrook, Brad Spodsworth. I see Wayne Arends is now in the last race, the second heat. Wesley Hendricks is there. David Goosen. Makanya Mabasa is in there. Greg Waddington and AJ Venter.
Yep, Alan John Venter will start at the back of the grid once again. Dean and Tuana's bike in the breakfast class, or couldn't get it off the line rather, and he stalled in both of the races in those classes. But now that bike is used by the man himself, AJ Venter, for Lacquer Racing. As far as we know, the only South African to do the Isle of Man as of recent.
Well, I was not going to say the only South African. Hudson Kenner, who's now stays in the UK, was a South African when he did the Isle of Man TT as well. So, but he's now a British citizen, naturalized citizen. So the bike's on the line. We're waiting. AJ Venter seems to have a little bit of an issue at the back there. Look at the bike. It now seems to be okay. Kieran Snyman is not on the grid. That means he's obviously wrapped up his championship. That doesn't feel like racing. Sweet.
So now, yeah, it will be the race or the battle for second place in the championship, which I think is far enough ahead for Slade Van Niekerk. I think behind him, no
Johnny Towers.
Johnny Towers, yeah, so he's pulled off as well.
Yeah.
AJ Venter getting ready and hyped up at the back end of the grid. And then we'll get ready to get underway. The whistle will be blown. The 5-second board will be thrown up very shortly. And there it goes. 5 seconds up and underway. The lights are on, the lights are off. And away they go for the final Seal Pro Wineland Superbike Challenge Masters and 600s for 2024. And there, not Kieran Snyman, he's out of the
Tristan Pienaar has a good.
Yes.
Tristan Pienaar has a rocket start there. Slade Van Niekerk up behind him. And Tristan leading out there. Kieran trying to reel him in there. And that looks like, is that Michael Hunter? That sits there in third. Michael Hunter in the 600. Working his way through, leading out the rest of the field. AJ Venter trying to work his way through the field. Having a look there, David Goosen also in there. So they work their way down through Damstep, up the Tigerberg straight away, up towards the Sorrel sweep. And working their way down now, down the back straight. Have a look, see there is Tristan Pienaar and Kieran Snyman, and here comes AJ Venter out of nowhere up into third place. So AJ is now really hyped up, so to speak.
I think we're accustomed to saying Kieran Snyman's name and having him be at the front end of the field, but he's not in this race. I think you're referring to Slade Van Niekerk, who's just behind Tristan Pienaar now in his line of sight. That is AJ Venter. As they now make their way into and out of Holes Hook are the two leaders. And Tristan Pienaar is actually pulling away with it at the moment ahead of Slade Van Niekerk in second position. And then, of course, AJ Venter sitting there in third on that number 43 Yamaha R1.
Yeah, AJ Venter going through there. And then it's Michael Hunter, Brad Bodsworth, Jason Lineker and Gerard Frey that work their way through. But we'll pick up the leader now, Tristan Pienaar. He's going up towards Sorrel Sweep. Ahead there of Slade Van Niekerk. And I can tell you something, that Alan John Venter is really rumbling that machine of his to try and go and get up into the leaders there. He's really in his old fine form, and he is really rocketing that R1M.
I think the last time he raced, he said it was the ZX10 Masters Cup for their last round a couple of weeks ago. So he's back on another bike. His bike gave him some suspension issues yesterday, so he decided to call it quits and waited for Augustine Ntwana to be finished with his race so he can jump that bike. Coming across the line of the second racing, or the first racing lap, Tristan Pienaar, then Slade van Niekerk. There's Alan John Venter. Now we wait for Mike Hunter, first in the 600s, and Brad Bodsworth. No, I lie, sorry. Jason Lineker and Mike Hunter. Then Brad Bodsworth. Gerard Frey back up to 7th position. Sarah Haasbroek in 8th. David Goosen up into 9th. Greg Waddington and Wesley Hendricks in 11th as they make their way into Holshoek.
Our brilliant riders there. And I can tell you something. Put a mid-pack there. There's Michael Hunter. And up behind him, Brad Bodsworth. There's Gerard Frey. There's Haasbroek. There's the Goose, David Goosen. And up behind him, Greg Waddington. There's Hendricks up behind him.
Yep, the back end of the field makes their way through and out of Castro Corner. There's your third place man, Alan John Venter, on the 43 Yamaha R1 for Lacquer Racing. He'll make his way out down the Kalani Straight. Then we see Jason Lineker come through, Mike Hunter and Brad Bodsworth in their little battle between the Masters class in the Superbikes for Brad Bodsworth and the 600s for Mike Hunter. Then Gerard Frey, Sarah Haasbroek, David Goosen, Greg Waddington, and again Wesley Hendricks at the back end of the grid. They'll be making their way down the Kalani Straight towards Pertamina Vosrond. Now the leaders go into Holshoek. There we see that battle between Brad Bodsworth and Mike Hunter, both in classes of their own, but fighting it out overall. Brad Bodsworth is currently ahead of Mike Hunter, sitting in 5th and 6th respectively. Then Gerard Frey, Sarah Haasbroek, David Goosen in 9th still, Greg Waddington in 10th, and finally the last person on the grid, Wesley Hendricks.
Well, currently the quickest man in the circuit, Slade van Niekerk, with the quickest time, and he's closing a little bit onto the back of Tristan Pienaar. So that is your turn 2 pictures at the moment that you have on screen. The leaders are going to be making their way pretty shortly down the back straight towards Pertamina Vosrond. And there goes Tristan Pienaar, Slade van Niekerk up here. I think Tristan got a bit of a murmur in his ear from the bike behind him and decided to up there. Alan John Venter is really rocketing that R1M around. As they're exiting Pertamina Vosrond, Alan John Venter's entering it. And, well, he's not too far behind them and he's closing down. But still not quick enough to catch them in terms of that.
Alan John Venter in the 114s now, as the other two youngsters are in the 112s. AJ Venter now comes across the line, a 114.4 for him, so he's 2 seconds adrift. There he is in 3rd place, coming into Holshoek now. Then Jason Lineker comes across the line. We see him come into frame, and then just behind him, it's still that battle between Bodsworth and Hunter. There's 5 tenths between them coming into Holshoek. Then a little bit further behind, there's 3 bikes, almost line and stern. That's Frey, Haasbroek, and Goosen, and then Hendricks and Waddington are just behind that group.
Right, so everyone having a good old-fashioned rumble. The leaders are quite a way down the road. We'll try and pick them up. They're going down the back straight towards Pertamina Vosrond. It's still Tristan Pienaar, Slade van Niekerk. Tristan Pienaar on the loud pedal trying to get away, but it looks like Slade is closing down ever so slightly, going down into Pertamina Vosrond. There you can see Slade van Niekerk now right up behind Tristan Pienaar, and Slade closes down on the exit of Pertamina Vosrond. And there's Alan John Venter entering now. So Alan John doing quite well in 3rd place, but having a look-see at him, and he's on that R1 and he's really giving it a good run for its money, but just not enough to catch these 2 young guns in front, who are now on their way to Castrol Corner.
I believe if AJ Venter was on his ZX-10, he'd be showing these kids what is to be done. But even on that R1, he's pedaling that thing around like an absolute madman. One you'd expect to be riding at the Isle of Man, as he so does. Then we see Lineker went through. Then Bodsworth and Hunter, they're still finding that battle. But look how this has closed entirely. There's not that big of a gap. Maybe a couple of seconds between Bodsworth and Goosen there. And then obviously Waddington and Hendricks just a little bit out of frame coming through the first turn.
Yeah, Goosen's got Haasbroek and Frey in front of him. I don't know if he'll be able to get past them. So that's the Bodsworth battle going through there with Michael Hunter, the Gerard Frey, Haasbroek, Goosen. They're having a good little scrap there. The leader's about to cross the line. There's Alan John Venter into turn 5, Pertamina Fastron on the exit. He'll make his way up towards the start-finish line. There's the leaders now already on Hubert Straight. The leaders have pulled away from him quite dramatically. Here come the two leaders. That's Tristan Pienaar, and looks like Slade van Niekerk has got ahead now. So Slade has got ahead. And when Slade's in front, he's not an easy person to pass. So he will hold the lead with 3 laps to go.
Yep, that's completely right. And still 1:12.352 for the 111 of Slade van Niekerk on that Project 60 SA Kawasaki ZX10. And then obviously the Missile Motorcycles, Bulldog Racing and Alpha Aesthetics BMW S1000RR of Tristan Pienaar is right behind him. They're going to go back and forth now. They're going to go side by side down the Kalani Straight. Tristan Pienaar, I know he's basically made of rubber, so he doesn't care what happens, as he'll dive late on the brakes on the inside, and he'll hold it in, and he'll keep that position, I believe, in second place. I think Slade van Niekerk just braked a little bit later than Tristan did, and now Slade will hold that position down to the line, and that is the case.
Slade locking out there. Alan John Venter going into Pertamina Fastron. Nice visuals of AJ as he exits Pertamina Fastron corner. A couple of the other riders coming down into, that's Jason Lineker. He's ahead of Brad Bodsworth of them. Jason Lineker works his way out of turn 5.
Yep, that's Jason Lineker on the RST Missile Motorcycles and ASAP World Honda CBR 1000R. He'll make his way through in 4th place. Then there's this battle once again. It's now moved to a 3-way battle between Frey, Bodsworth and Hunter. Bad B Racing is Brad Bodsworth. He's now been passed by Gerard Frey. Frey's moved up into 5th and 1st in the Superbike Challenge class. Good to see him back out there supporting Seal Pro Winans and Project 60 himself. Once again, the first time he's ridden in a good while. And now he'll race down towards Castrol Corner. Bad Brad Bodsworth there on the 41 Honda. He now sits there in 6th position, and Mike Hunter in the 600. Currently sitting there, that LLG Properties ZX6R sits there in the 3rd spot in that group of 3, now sitting in 7th overall.
Right, so the leaders have made their way there into turn number 1. There's once again AJ Venter.
Now you see nose to tail, Tristan Pienaar has claimed that position back. This is definitely going to be a run to the line, so I better get my voice ready because I might scream as they get to the finish line. But there they exit Castrol Corner, a bike's length between them, which isn't much at all. And going around the inside, not even around, on the inside is Slade van Niekerk on that 111 bike, and he moves up a little bit and he blocks off Tristan Pienaar.
Oh, Tristan Pienaar chasing hard. They're very close to each other. This could be a race down to the line as they come through Sarl's sweep. They're going to go down the back straight now. It's Slade, and Tristan lights up that BMW. Slade protecting his position there, but Tristan's going around the outside. Is Tristan going to fly across the inside, or is Slade going to hold out? They side by side. Tristan's hanging around the outside. They're side by side as they come out of Pertamina Fastron. Who's got the upper hand as they come up towards us? It's going to be Slade van Niekerk. Takes it from Tristan Pienaar. Slade van Niekerk takes the final race from Tristan Pienaar. And they are absolutely a country mile ahead here of Alan John Venter. Alan John Venter will take 3rd on the Yamaha. And then in 4th place down in Pertamina Fastron is Jason Lineker. Lineker works his way up towards the start-finish line. Good run from him in 4th. And then we got this whole gaggle of bikes up behind them. Bodsworth, Frey, Hunter, Goosen. Now they come towards the line. Who's it going to be? It's Bodsworth, Frey, Hunter, and Goosen. Followed there by Waddington.